everybody, welcome back to Planet Coaster and to the project Occasional 2. In the last episode we built a small weekly market and created the facade of the Wizard Castle. Today we're heading inside. We'll lay out the coaster that runs through the castle and use a whole lot of brickwork to build the entrance hall and the coaster station. Off-screen, I already set up the walkways. I had built the coaster station earlier, which means the length of the entrance hall was already predetermined. I left a few adjustments for the staircases open for today. And yes, I have already spoiled it, but it was kind of obvious anyway. The coaster is accessible via staircases. As we know, Planko guests aren't exactly fans of climbing stairs. Maybe I can make it more appealing by offering a shop somewhere along the way. We talked in the last episode about keeping the number of shops inside the castle fairly limited. In the entrance hall, we'll place 2 shops and a washing room. That should be enough. Well, we'll see how things develop. We are building the staircases in a separate episode. Today we are focusing on the entrance hall and the coaster station above it. Still, we are already creating a connection between the 2 rooms. The entrance hall ends in a large tower that runs through the entire building. On each floor level, I add platforms inside the shaft so it doesn't just look like an empty light well. Instead, it should feel like people actually live here and use these platforms to access other rooms in the building. At the top of the tower, I'm placing the glowing stained glass window with the king. It's not entirely accurate since this is officially a Wizard Castle, but the window is just too beautiful to pass up. And speaking of beautiful, I'm absolutely loving this carpet. Well, technically it's a window covering, but it works perfectly as a carpet. Look, we're rolling out the red carpet for our guests. If that doesn't make them feel welcome, I don't know what will. And I like this idea so much that we definitely use it again later. But before we talk about the coaster station, let me take a short talking break. It's no secret that I have a soft spot for house and techno music. Today, though, I picked something different, a selection of R&B and soul tracks. I'll be right back. again, and the hall with the coaster station is almost finished. For now, it's a large column hall. We are already under the roof here, but visually I preferred not to build into the roof structure. Instead, I closed it off with masonry. On the coaster entrance side, guests can look through an archway into the tower, and on the opposite side, I pulled the wall slightly forward from the castle wall to simulate additional rooms on another floor. Ooh, by the way, did I mention that this castle is supposed to include spooky elements? Well, the spooky is relative in Planet Coaster because it's supposed to be a family-friendly game. Plus, everyone has a different threshold for what feels too creepy. What I'm getting at, a spider has settled on the ceiling of this hall. That might make some guests reconsider whether they really want to ride this coaster. So, the plan going forward. We'll work through the castle room by room, ideally following the coaster's path, so we can ride it each time and see how the castle grows. I've already placed a door to define the first room, though the opposite side is still open. Oh, and we'll need to take care of the staircase at some point too. Sounds like a plan. For now, let's take a look at what we've accomplished today in the cinematic shots. I think there's already plenty to show. Have a wonderful weekend and see you soon.